Well, welcome back to everyone who wants to return to Weaselhead Park. It is now back open for business since some of the damage that was done during the June flooding. We're joined by Chris with the City of Calgary. Chris, can you give us a bit of an idea about what kind of damage was done during the June floods out here?
Well, actually, and with a lot of our large natural areas, not a tremendous amount of damage to the natural area itself.
Okay.
There was a tremendous amount of water that came through. Obviously, we lost trails, a lot of damage to what we built in the park.
Okay.
But it's important to realize that these ecosystems actually depend to a certain extent on flooding, and that's actually kind of natural.
Okay.
That said, the river moved a lot. It exposed a lot of banks. It moved dirt. We had trees fall down. That sort of disturbance is pretty evident.
Okay.
When you're in the park, you'll see lots of signs of that.
Okay.
But it is part of the renewal process of a natural area like
Right.
this.
Okay, and because of what the park used to be known as way back in the day, that created a little bit of complications for you guys.
Yes, that's correct. It was part of a artillery firing range that almost 80 or 90 years was used by the Canadian Armed Forces for training. I've always known that there has been a chance of buried explosives or artillery shells and things like that
Okay.
in the park, and we've worked with that for years. However, with all of the movement in the river, the exposure of new soils and
The
sediments,
erosion.
we started to find a few of them popping up this summer.
Okay.
And based on that, we thought the best thing to do is close the park, get the armed forces in, who really are the experts on this sort of stuff, and figure out what the risk is and what we need to do to make the park safe again.
Wow. Now, what was that process like working with the armed forces, and how long did it take them to come in and make their diagnosis?
Well, as soon as we let them know what was going on, they did get here fairly quickly,
Okay.
and that was, certainly our immediate concern was to make sure the park is safe. And they spent a bit of time assessing the park, looking at how the river had changed things, where there was a risk of these things showing up. And what they
Okay.
concluded was that, in fact, there wasn't any undue risk in the park apart from the obvious precautions that you take.
Right.
If you see anything unusual in there, something shiny, metallic, by all means, please step away from it.
Don't run up
Yeah.
and grab it. Take it for show
Yeah.
and tell.
Call 911
Okay.
and we can attend to the issue.
Okay.
But our understanding is that the risk is comparatively low. Like all of our natural areas, and particularly the Weaselhead, because it is, notwithstanding its past, a very sensitive natural environment, we do ask people to stay on the trails, and
Okay.
certainly that's a very safe thing to do in an area like this.
Right. And all animals, of course, on leashes and anything like that.
Absolutely, yes. It is an on-leash park, and we ask that you keep your dogs on a leash when you're in the park.
Awesome. Now, you are welcoming people back, though, and you want them to know, I guess, what you just reiterated, that it is safe. And as long as you follow the rules you guys have set in motion, then everyone should be safe and fine.
Absolutely, yeah, it is safe. You will see as you walk into the park, there are signs now that were supplied to us from the armed forces that do let users know there is a chance they may run across something here, and gives you some quick instructions on what to do if you see something unusual.
Awesome, Chris. Thanks for all the info.
You're welcome.
We're going to stay here at Weaselhead Park for the rest of the show. We're also going to talk to Chris a little bit later about some of the great programs and things you can do out here at Weaselhead Park. Stay with us for Go Calgary.